everybody, it's Stewart A. Swerdlow.
And Janet Diane Moria Swerdlow.
And this is the news podcast for expansions.com for the middle of January, is it?
Already?
Well, as you may know, we're in the middle of our week-long training class, the Extravaganza. We're just taking a few moments out of our very busy schedule to let you know we're still here and talking to you.
It's going well with great people from all over the world. You're missing a fabulous week. It will not happen again until 2015. So,
and conveniently, we're right in between polar vortices. So one just ended, you know, when it minus 45 and all that stuff. And so the last couple of days has been relatively warmer. And tomorrow, guess what?
It's going to get chilly. Well, got our people in. That was the main thing. All our people
but at least they're here,
in.
so they may get stuck here. What are we going to do? With all those people.
Well,
anyway.
They're enjoying the food from what I hear.
Yeah. So, just a couple of quick things I wanted to mention to you that happened this past week. You may have heard about the 5.1 earthquake that struck between Cuba and Florida in the Florida Straits. Of course, there's not a fault line there, and there should not be an earthquake there, and yet it was felt from Havana to Miami. So that's very significant. And just today, there was a 6.5 earthquake off the coast of Puerto Rico, which was felt as far as the Dominican Republic. So something's going on in the Caribbean, and I am sure it has to do with the rising of the Caribbean tectonic plate that I've told you about many, many years ago, which is really Atlantis coming back up.
And let's not forget the passing of Ariel Sharon.
Well, that's the other thing, is the passing of Ariel Sharon, the former Prime Minister of Israel, who has been in a coma for the last 8 years. So in effect, he kind of died 8 years ago, just his body now followed. But what's interesting is, they're not making a big deal of his funeral, because he was not very well liked in the world. Last month in December, we had the funeral of Nelson Mandela, who fought for freedom in his country and was considered a terrorist. And now in January, we have the death of Ariel Sharon, who fought for freedom in his country and was considered a terrorist. So guess what? When there's two, there's three. I am predicting in February of this year, 2014, another elderly freedom fighter somewhere will die. And that will complete a triangle for the Illuminati's global ritual.
And did you want to tell them about the 108-year-old rabbi?
Just after actually, Ariel Sharon went into a coma 8 years ago. A 108-year-old rabbi, Rabbi Kaduri, who was a leader of a very religious sect of Jews in Israel, and who made predictions that came true all the time. Well, when he passed away, they found notes and letters. Some say it's a hoax, some say it's true, but it seems to be a lot of information pointing towards truth. In his notes, it said that he had a vision before his death of the Messiah, and the Messiah was Jesus.
That's pretty significant for a rabbi.
Yes, but he used the name Yehoshua, which is the Hebrew version of that name. And he said that Yehoshua/Jesus would appear after the death of Ariel Sharon. So, let's see what happens.
Plus, 108, of course, is the visionary frequency.
Yes, and you know, there's 108 beads in the Buddhist rosary, and 108 is a very mystical number.
So we have lots of things going on, and we just have to figure out how to interpret.
Yeah.
All right, so you want my...
Yeah, let me hear you. What you got?
Well, I have actually quite a few stories, but because of the extravaganza going on, I've briefed them down to basically one, which I think is of importance, because I think it links a lot of people, such as ourselves and our business, that are out there working to support you so you can support yourself. Because, as you probably know, David Icke and the People's Choice Television has been attacked over and over and over and over again, and this latest attack is from Sonia Poulsen, a very well-known journalist who came later on board. You know, it's all written all over his site, so that story you can go ahead and research for yourself. But it basically is bringing out the point that all these people that come into your organizations pretending to be supporters are very likely saboteurs, so you have to be careful about that. And what was interesting is I was reading today on the site that he was bringing in an American journalist named Christopher Ballin. to testify about the events surrounding 9/11. Now, Christopher Bolin, to give a little bit of background on that, he helped a gentleman named Professor Stephen E. Jones in the spring of summer of 2006 when Jones found solid evidence of thermite in the dust of the Twin Towers. So, apparently, because of this discovery, for Jones and Bolin, there were a lot of issues. Bolin claims that he was attacked at his home in Hoffman Estates, Illinois, by a heavily armed three-man team of undercover police that had been prowling around his house for several days in a row. Now, his daughter also wrote on the internet that she witnessed the attack, that his father was unarmed, did not make any attempt of arrest, or any attempt to flee the arrest, and that her father was basically thrown to the ground and tasered and mistreated. This was eventually went to trial. He was found guilty on both charges, and subsequently all of these records were lost. Because of this, his family actually fled his home from Chicago and moved to Europe in June of 2007. So he wrote a set of books based on his 9/11 research that was entitled Solving 9/11, The Deception That Changed the World. Now, this gentleman, Mr. Bolin, was held up in Heathrow Airport for several hours on his way to the People's Choice Television to be interviewed on that show. And he was deported. He was not allowed to enter the UK, and so, of course, the People's Choice is having to reconfigure their programming and so forth. But there are a lot of issues that have plagued the People's Choice Television since it went global, and that it has been attacked. I've had people tell me that sometimes they can get the shows, sometimes they can't get the shows. And these things happen. You know, after a while, people say, you know, are you making these things up? You can't make them up. We've been through it consistently.
Constantly.
But the issue is still what's within our own mind patterns that allows the attack. And as you know, the world right now is being bombarded with ELF. It's being bombarded with, what's the solar?
Solar waves and energies that affect the moods and minds of people.
Right, and even things like the polar vortex. A vortex has to do with programming. So they're choosing these words very carefully to make the world an increasingly more difficult place to survive in. And they're trying to take people like David Icke, who in his own way is a freedom fighter, down. They're trying to take us down, and there are probably other people out there going through similar situations, and you yourself in your own life may be going through such a thing. All of these teach us to fortify ourselves, to learn more protection techniques, and of course we will not be stopped. And don't let the outer world stop you. We support David, we support his efforts, we support everything that he's doing to inform the world. And in turn, we appreciate those of you who support us and expansions.com in our fight to keep your freedoms here. Freedom of knowledge, freedom of information, that is the most powerful thing that you can have, and that is what the powers that be want to eliminate from you, which is what we teach you, especially like in this January class, to go inside and to discover your own information and be your own leader, your own power person. With that said, because you may not be here at our January class, we do have our next seminar coming up in April. So please watch for those announcements. It will be the last weekend. We have a working title of Finding Your Frequency, and those details will be released soon. We will be in New York City the evening of March 14th for a lecture, followed by personal consultations. What else do we have going on?
Well, I'm supposed to go to Russia and Japan in May.
So that's a possibility. We're still looking at those details. And we have, of course, a few days with Stewart still open. If you want to have some good personalized information, we've got that going on. We have some sales going on the website. Our personal consultations right now are on sale. Please check the website for that information. If you need some help and guidance, that's what we're here for. Join our monthly blog. That's actually on health, happiness, and harmony.
I like that.
I like that too.
I love some of that.
We're working at it, all of us, very diligently. Anything else they need to know?
Well, just they're missing a great week.
They are. So if you want to come in 2015, believe it or not, now's the time to start planning, because in order for you to be at this class, you need to have certain basics under your belt. The basic DVDs are now posted in the video channel on our membership site. $35 per month. We have the blogs out there, we have the books, we have lots of things going on that will help you expand your mind pattern, create health, harmony, and happiness in your life. It's not just for the privileged few, it's for everybody.
Okay. That's it?
That's it.
All right, well, we got to get back to class, so we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.